In this video, I'm going to be answering your frequently asked questions about mechatronics. Hey, my name's Oliver. So recently YouTube decided to push one of my videos and it's been really helping the channel out. So thank you so much for hitting the like button and the subscribe button. And since there are so many new people seeing my channel for the first time, I've been getting non-stop questions in the comments section, so hopefully this video will help you guys out and answer some of your frequently asked questions. If I don't get to your questions this time, don't worry, I'll be making tons more videos about mechatronics and engineering on this channel, and feel free to leave your questions in the comments down below. I love to respond to them, and I always do my best to try and answer everything. So with all that out of the way, let's get into some questions. So before I get into the questions, there is some confusion about mechatronics, and I don't blame you, it does get pretty confusing. The basics that you need to know is that mechatronics is a mix between software, electrical, and mechanical engineering, and the coursework focuses on control systems and embedded systems design. As I answer more of these questions, hopefully you'll get a bit of a clearer picture of what I just said. And first off, we have, is mechatronics similar to electromechanical engineering? And the answer to this is yes, but electromechanical engineering is generally used in industry as a term for manufacturing companies when they want to hire a mechatronics technician from a trade school. Now, what about electronics engineering? Is mechatronics similar to that? My answer to that would be yes. However, in mechatronics, you'll probably be doing a lot more software than you would in electronics engineering, but both of them have a healthy amount of electrical circuits. Is mechatronics similar to computer engineering? In general, the answer to this is yes. These two are very similar fields, and in mechatronics and computer engineering, you work with both hardware and software, but computer engineering is more focused on computer hardware and software, while mechatronics is more focused on embedded systems hardware and software. So things like your washing machine, your microwave, your oven, all of those things would be a mechatronics engineer. Another one I get sometimes is, which countries can you get a Bachelor of Mechatronics Engineering in? And to this I would answer Canada, where I'm located, the United States. There are tons of places in Europe such as Germany, the Netherlands, Poland, Turkey, Lithuania, etc. When it comes to choosing where you want to take your mechatronics degree, you have to make sure that the degree is accredited and that you'll be able to get a professional engineer designation down the line. Depending on which country you're in, the professional engineer designation can change, but in the United States, there are only a few mechatronics programs that are actually accredited to give you that designation. Another common question I get is, can you start a business with a mechatronics degree? And the answer to this is obviously yes, of course you can. You can start a business with any engineering degree. The pros of getting an engineering degree is that you have the ability now to build a product, whether it's hardware or software, and then take that product and try and sell it to people. And you can worry about all the business stuff after the fact, but all that you have to do is do what you're good at, and that's building a product. All of the business information that you can find online fairly easily, and there are tons of organizations out there that want to help small business owners succeed. So starting a business as an engineering student often works out very well. Another very common question I get is, what can I do to start working on projects, and how do I start working on mechatronics related projects? If you want to do a mechatronics or robotics project, I would recommend looking into working with a microcontroller or a microcomputer. So this would be things like an Arduino, a Raspberry Pi, ST Microelectronics, etc. There are tons of resources online and projects that people have already built that you can try and build off of, or you can replicate on your own. And if you want to do a software project, there are tons of free resources online that teach you how to code from zero, and then you can take this knowledge and try and build something with it. For example, at the end of the term, I find myself obsessively checking my grades, so I created a web scraping bot that can fetch my grades with the click of one button instead of clicking the 5 or 6 buttons that it would normally take, and I made it send a text directly to my phone so I don't even have to get up. So if you have a problem that you wish there was a good solution to, that's a great starting point for any project. I've also had tons of people asking me where I go to school and how they can even apply to my school. So if you really want to know, it's McMaster University in Canada. Go check it out if you want to apply. They should be paying me for this. Some of you guys out there have some crazy high aspirations. I had a few people asking me, how do I become a neurologist and a mechanical engineer? And while it's really hard, you can actually do this. There's 2 ways that you could go about this. The first approach is to get a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and then apply for a master's in a more biomedical field and eventually work your way up to a PhD in neurology or apply to med school. The main issue with this approach is that you have to keep a really high GPA in engineering, which is very hard to do, but it's not impossible. Another option is if you really like the life sciences and engineering, you can look into doing a biomedical engineering degree. This is a very big up-and-coming field, and biomedical technology is improving more and more each year, and this would be a great option for you. A lot of you really want to know which jobs and companies are directly related to mechatronics engineering, so here are a few options. Of course, it will vary depending on your university and your mechatronics program, but I'll do it as if I was to apply to some of these companies. In my case, if I was looking for a job directly related to the things I've been learning, I would look at Intel's FPGA division or another FPGA company called Xilinx. I would also attempt to apply for a job at Tesla because a lot of the work there is related to control systems and robotics. Other companies would include Boston Dynamics, Nvidia, AMD. I would also look at Apple, Google, and Microsoft because they all have hardware-software integration. I would look at car manufacturers, suppliers for car manufacturers, process automation companies, microelectronic companies, and even some aerospace companies. So hopefully that gives you an idea about the types of companies that you could potentially apply for as a mechatronics engineer. I've gotten this one a few times and you guys want to know exactly what I'm learning in school, all of the specifics, so here's a quick breakdown. In my mechatronics degree, I've learned the coding languages Python and C. I've learned the hardware description language called Verilog. I've taken tons of engineering math and physics courses, which help me analyze how real systems work through a mathematical lens using cool tricks in linear algebra. I've learned about electricity and magnetism, circuitry, basic logic design, and a lot more. I've used tons of different engineering softwares. For example, I've used Autodesk Inventor for 3D modeling, commonly referred to as AutoCAD. In my math and control systems courses, I've used MATLAB and Simulink. And in some of my FPGA and microelectronics courses, I've used Quartus Prime and Kyle IDE. In my software courses, I've learned how to use different operating systems such as Linux through a virtual machine. And in some of my circuit design courses, I've used LT-Spice and National Instruments Multisim in order to simulate circuits on the computer. So I'm sure that 90% of what I just said might have sounded like a second language to you, and to make you feel better, I had absolutely no idea what any of this stuff was before I went into engineering. So if you're looking for a really good way to learn these things, honestly, I would say go and get a degree. You will learn a lot of stuff. That being said, you'll probably only end up using about 10 to 20% of what you learned on an actual engineering job. But a lot of the core math and physics that you learn will be extremely important for any engineering job that you get. So hopefully that gave you an idea of what you would learn in a mechatronics degree. The next question I get asked is, can a mechatronics engineer work in this field or that industry? Most of the time, the answer to this question will be yes. If you want to work in electronics, software, mechanical engineering, or even on Wall Street, you can do it. This is where the stuff that you do outside of the classroom really begins to matter. If you're in mechatronics or any other engineering degree for that matter, I can almost guarantee you that if you spend 100% of your time doing schoolwork, you won't get a job. Engineering is an extremely competitive field, and in order to stand out, you have to join a club, a team, or work on a project to help boost that resume. This is also where university really shines because you have tons of options on campus to join something and contribute. For example, you want to work in aerospace, join the Mars rover team. You want to work for Tesla, join the solar car or eco car team. You want to work for Boston Dynamics, join a robotics team. If there isn't a robotics team, you can make one. If you want to work in big data or software, go to a hackathon, team up with a bunch of strangers, and create something awesome. You want to be a web developer? Start building websites and creating a portfolio. You want to work on Wall Street? Join the investment council or invest your own money and do it really well. You want to be a consultant? Go do a case competition. You get the idea. You might take 1 or 2 courses where you work with a very specific technology from a very specific company, and then you can go and apply to that particular division of that company. But the odds of you getting a job there are extremely slim. And even those companies will want to see that you're able to do projects outside of the classroom, that you're a multifaceted person, so it's really important to put yourself out there and to do something extra. So what you should do is find a company or a general type of job that you like, and then focus your energy on those particular classes that relate, and build projects that will look good on a resume when you apply to that particular job. I also think it's important to make sure you're working on a couple of different things because you don't want to apply to just one company and then get declined and then have no backups. Definitely not a recommended strategy. And these next 2 are related to master's degrees and trade school. Should I get a master's in mechatronics? This is where it can get a little bit complicated. When you take a master's in any engineering field, to me that means that you really like the field and that you want to work in that particular field. So if you want to work for any of those companies that I mentioned previously, then yes, getting a master's degree is a great idea. It'll help you really stand out because most engineers do not have a master's degree. If you're coming from an unrelated field and haven't done much circuits, electronics, or software, then it will be a little bit more challenging for you than somebody with a related background. But since you've already done one engineering degree, you should feel pretty confident in your ability to pick up on new things and get new skills. And I'm sure that you would get at least 1 to 2 weeks of review in your master's program to help bring you up to speed on what's going on. I like to think that the master's schools wouldn't even let you take the degree if they didn't think you'd be able to learn it. But whatever the reason, I do think that getting a master's degree is well worth it. Next up, this one has come up quite often. Can you go to a trade school and get the same degree as a bachelor's of mechatronics engineering? And what's the difference between a trades diploma and a degree from a university? If you choose to do a mechatronics diploma at a trade school, you will learn a lot about mechatronics. In trade school, you learn a lot more about applying mechatronics related things in a job-like situation. A college diploma in general is much more focused on getting you job ready than a university is. However, if you choose to do an engineering degree from a university, you will spend a lot of time writing down equations and learning about math and physics and tons of theoretical stuff. Any of the hands-on stuff that you want to do is left up to you and you do outside of class, for the most part. That being said, a university education usually gives you many more options. If you want to work in something a little bit unrelated to your degree or branch out to a different part of your field, you can easily do that. Meanwhile, getting a college diploma is usually a direct path to getting a very particular job or set of jobs, and there are many fewer options. For the most part, what you choose to do in college, you're stuck with as your job until you do more school. And this here is probably the biggest difference between the two. In Canada, if you have a university degree, you can get the professional engineer designation, but if you have a college diploma, you're unable to get this designation. Being a professional engineer means that you hold the responsibility that any work that you sign off on is held to a certain standard of safety that won't harm other people, the environment, or things around you. And the process to getting this designation is working under a different professional engineer for 4 years and then taking an ethics test. You can also do a master's for 2 years and then work under somebody else for 2 years for a total of 4 years and then take the test. And if you take a college diploma, at least here in Canada, you won't be able to transfer more than 1 semester worth of your 2-year diploma into a university, so it's not really advantageous to do college first and then go to university. Also, generally speaking, people will value a university degree more than a college diploma, and you'll probably get paid more if you have a university degree versus a college diploma. So those are the basic things that you need to know about the differences between a trades diploma and a university degree. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope I was able to answer some of your questions and clear up some of the confusion. If you enjoyed this video or found any part of it useful, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Also, feel free to leave me a comment with your suggestions about what I should make next, or if you have any more questions related to mechatronics. If you want to come hang with me, ask me some questions while I play some video games, then go check out my Twitch channel, follow me there, and check out the schedule that's posted for when I go live. Again, thank you so much for all the support recently, it's been amazing, and I'll see you next time.